E3 has kicked into high gear. Microsoft has given us 50 games, 18 exclusives, and 15 world premieres. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, the 20 biggest surprises of Xbox's E3 2018 presentation. Number 20, good lord, it is Battletoads. Keeping in mind we did not see any major anything, we were just kind of filled in that there is Battletoads. I want to say that I called it halfway through. As soon as it said U3 in green letters, I was like, oh shit, this is Battletoads. And it was. And I cannot wait to play a modern Battletoads. 3-player couch co-op can come back. I'm there. Number 19, we saw Ori and the Will of the Wisps. What's surprising about the game is seemingly the scale. Ori and the Blind Forest was a really well-made game with a lot of beautiful territory to cover. But Will of the Wisps looks like something different. And I didn't expect myself to be saying that, like, okay, great, Ori was good, they're making a sequel to this. No, this looks like Ori times 1,000. Obviously, we know it's going to be a Metroidvania with some Rayman influence, but we also know that the scale of the events is much larger in this game. Ori goes beyond the Blind Forest, and from what we've seen of this trailer, Beyond the Blind Forest is a treat. Number 18, we got a nice big batch of Metro Exodus gameplay, and a little bit more idea as to what we're going to actually see in this game. Something we've talked a lot about at gameranx is the sort of switch to a linear plus non-linear level structure. It seems a lot like they're going to be looping it all together with the train, which I think is brilliant. Honestly, the kind of freaky atmosphere that Metro Exodus is putting out there just combines so well with the idea of sort of having your freedom fighters on a train. It kind of feels like that you versus the world feeling that games try often to capture, but I'm thinking this one might actually do it. Number 17, we found out Nier Automata is coming out on Xbox One. It's hitting June 26th, and it is the Become as Gods edition. $50 gets you all the DLC, the base game, the expansions, some skins, some pods. Frankly, none of that really is that big of a deal. Nier Automata is a phenomenal game. Number 16, we found out that Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming to the Xbox One, which honestly threw me a little bit for a loop. Kingdom Hearts is typically something you only see on Sony consoles, and there's nothing that really suggests that Square Enix has no reason to continue their relationship with Sony. They're not putting Final Fantasy VII, the remake, anywhere other than PlayStation 4, at least from what we know now. So to bring Kingdom Hearts, one of the big PlayStation 2 games of all time, to a competitor system, I mean, it's really cool for Xbox One owners who liked Kingdom Hearts back in the day or happen to just like the franchise. It's my opinion that more gamers playing a game is better, and Kingdom Hearts is one of those games that I think everybody deserved a shot at. Number 15, we found out about the first two Sea of Thieves expansions, Cursed Sails and Forgotten Shores. These come at a time when, frankly, I think we needed them very badly. Sea of Thieves is a very good idea with fairly limited content. Microsoft to the rescue, though. Interestingly enough, we got a look at Forsaken Shores more so than Cursed Sails, despite Cursed Sails coming sooner. It seems very much like they're delivering on the promise of new maps as opposed to more minor mechanical updates, and that's probably a good thing. In my opinion, that's what the game is lacking, and I look forward to seeing where it goes. Number 14, we found out The Division 2 is coming, and this one is set in Washington. We've also found out some significant pieces of the plot, or at least the semblance of a plot we'll get. Keep in mind, it is mostly a sandbox combat game. Anyhow, after the original outbreak, Washington, D.C. basically retreated into itself, and 6 months later, everybody is doing the same thing that they're doing in New York, surviving, but remnants of the old corrupt state begin to appear. This is the conflict that you will be taking part in. It's being labeled as another civil war. That sounds pretty interesting to me. Actually, even a little more substantial in scope than the original Division. But do we have to hear more scripted voice actors pretending to play the game? Other than that, I'm interested. Number 13, we got an update to Xbox Game Pass that's fairly interesting. There will be more titles, but first, Fast Start. Starting with the June update, select titles will use machine learning to download the necessary components of the games first, therefore causing it to happen faster, apparently. Also coming this month is the Halo Master Chief Collection, Ashen, Warhammer Vermintide 2, Phoenix Point, and Afterparty, as well as some older games that, frankly, it doesn't hurt to have. Division, Elder Scrolls Online, Tamriel Unlimited version, of course, and Fallout 4 all hit today, making the Xbox Game Pass a more and more worthwhile service to be subscribed to. Number 12, we found out about a DLC for Cuphead that looks very much like a substantial update to the game. In it, we'll be getting a new isle, new bosses, new weapons, and new charms, as well as a third playable character. Number 11, we saw Microsoft acquired 5 new studios: The Initiative, Undead Labs, Playground Games, Ninja Theory, and Compulsion Games, the We Happy Few studio, which, by the way, you can get that releasing on August 10th. And they really seem to be ramping up as far as getting some stuff out that you can't get anywhere else. It's a little late, but there is no time like the present for a shrewd business move. Number 10, Dying Light 2 was presented, and it actually looks pretty good. Chris Avellone is writing the game, and we don't know a whole lot about exactly what that entails yet, but we do know that the game changes massively based on the choices you make. Now, we've heard the choices really actually matter 400,000 times for just as many games. But Dying Light 2 actually had a demonstration of how choices change the game markedly. It does look really interesting, but they didn't really get into much scare anything, and it is a zombie game, so my thought is, have we moved to a time when zombies aren't actually scary? It's really just an obstacle that we all play against, maybe? I don't know. It looks like a good game, though. The parkour looks great. Number 9, we saw some more about Fallout 76, which has been shown to us as 4 times the size of Fallout 4 and taking place in West Virginia. Now, we got a little bit of the backstory. We were told that this essentially serves as a prequel to the other Fallout games that Bethesda has made, and ultimately to the original Fallout games as well. This is the first vault that opens, and obviously there's a multiplayer element to this game. Now, Bethesda has their own conference. That's probably the place where we're going to talk the most about Fallout 76, so look out for that. Number 8, we learned about a new game from Software, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, which is, by the way, not an exclusive, in case you're wondering. However, we are appreciative to Microsoft for getting the veil lifted on this. It is a little bit more than I expected. So it definitely does contain influence from the Souls and Bloodborne games, but Sekiro is definitely a different bird. For instance, it has possibly one of the coolest things that I would have never expected, which is a grappling hook mechanic, and yes, I will take that. Now, we didn't get a lot of gameplay, and we were pretty light on story as well, but it seems to look similar in style, if not with a little more color than previous From Software titles, and prompts you to take revenge, restore your honor, kill ingeniously. Number 7, we found out about Jump Force, which is a different looking Naruto/Dragon Ball fighting game. Stylistically speaking, it does take cues from all of these series, but it kind of looks a little more realistic, if not still cartoony people, but definitely a more apocalyptic look. What we've seen is absolutely massive in scale, and we see some very interesting crossovers, including a little Death Note tease at the end. I don't know, it's gonna be weird, but that may be the best thing for it. Number 6, we did see an exclusive, and it's kind of a duh. Forza Horizon 4 is a kind of a first-party title, so it's to be expected that it's an exclusive. However, we did find out some interesting stuff. It's set in Britain, for one. It has totally dynamic seasons, a shared open world, supposedly will lock at 60 frames per second on the Xbox One X, and is going to be hitting on October 2nd. You'll be able to get it on Windows 10 as well, and it will be included in the Game Pass on launch. Number 5, Session, a skateboard game that looks mysteriously like Skate 4, including, if you look into it, a dual stick control scheme. It's a game made by an indie company, but it will be exclusive to the Xbox as far as consoles go. It's actually a game that got kickstarted late last year. They didn't pull in a massive amount of funding though, bringing in about $80,000, but it looks like that probably got some kind of investment because it really is a high quality looking skate game. The environments are very pretty, got some good music, and I'm ready to play it. It is coming out this year to early access on Steam as well as a Xbox game preview release, with the final version of it hitting next year. Number 4, we heard some very good news regarding Devil May Cry, particularly that we're getting a 5th one. Now, this version of Devil May Cry is Devil May Cry, Devil May Cry. Now, his hair's a little shorter. Yeah, sure, fine. And I'm sure somebody's gonna get angry about that, but it is so much the kind of silly weirdness that the original series of Devil May Cry has given us in a next generation, sweet-looking, insane capability type game. Now, I don't hate the reboot. I think the DMC Devil May Cry actually wasn't a bad game, but I'm very happy to see Devil May Cry 5 hitting. I am going to waste so much time on this game. Number 3, we found out a lot about what's coming for the Gears of War franchise, particularly at Gears of War 5, a brand new game that we actually got quite a bit of dialogue from, but a fairly minimal amount of gameplay. The gameplay looked good though. Also, we're getting a tactics style game called Gears Tactics and a spin-off mobile game called Gears Pop, which features Funko Pop Gears of War people. I don't know, your guess is as good as mine. The other two things look much more interesting to me. Number 2, we learned about Halo Infinite, and this was a big one because they have been secretly developing a new engine called Slipspace. Everything they showed of the game is the game running in engine, and they are a ways off from shipping it. Now, as expected, the game will focus on Master Chief, continuing the story, the saga after Halo 5. It does have a little bit of a stylistic touch to it, and that's certainly very cool, but we have to keep in mind that we don't know much more than that, and I'm actually kind of glad they didn't just, drop too much of it at once. I kind of like the idea that they're holding back, trying to create some kind of mystique around the title, and there hasn't been that with Halo for a while, so that's good. And finally, number 1, we saw Cyberpunk 2077 being Cyberpunk 2077, and it was good. The new CD Projekt Red game, we found a lot of interesting stuff out. Polygon actually did some analysis on the trailer and found a bunch of information. There won't be any microtransactions in case you're interested in that. I know I am. It's a single-player RPG, and it's nice that they're not trying to milk it. There's going to be free DLC, and they say to expect nothing less than what you got with The Witcher 3, which is great because they really kept up with the updates for that game and pretty much gave us new games when they asked us to pay for DLC. It looks amazing. The world in it looks amazing. When it comes out, it's gonna be Game of the Year. I'm calling it. Then, as a quick bonus point, we found out there is a free download set in the Life is Strange universe called The Amazing Adventures of Captain Spirit. It is a free game, and we don't know a lot about it other than it does look pretty cool. It's different though. I'll be downloading it, playing it. I'm sure we'll talk about it. So that Microsoft conference was a doozy. What did you like most? What did you think was the coolest, most unexpected, or even just expected thing that happened? Leave us a comment, tell us what you're thinking, and if you like this video, please click like. If you're not subscribed now, it'd be a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week, and the best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription. As always, thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at Falcon the Hero, and we will see you next time right here on gameranx.